In this series we'll go to a specific weapon currently played in ZvZ, and we'll be teaching you how to play it. Welcome to How to Play Great Arcane. I posted a video called God is an Arcanist, with some highlights of me playing Great Arcane. And that will be the starting point to explain some of the gameplay of this weapon. First of all, I have my own style of playing each weapon, so keep that in mind. There are always different ways to address the same situations in ZvZ. The important is to adapt, as I do here with this perma bomb squad. I think I can stop them before they use Graveguard boots, so I give it a try, but while my E is casting, they use their boots, so they win this first round. So I need to use my Knight Armour to stop them so they don't hit my zerg. In the second example is the same team, so I change my strategy and I decide to purge first with my Knight Armour and then I use my Great Arcane E. So I quickly adapt to this situation just by changing the order of my abilities. Great Arcane, or GA as most people call it, it's a multi-purpose weapon. You can use more than one in your zerg, but the players must know some basic rules before playing it, so they don't mess up. The first rule is that you cannot use two consecutive GAs, or GAs in the same place. The second rule is never, but never use the GA on the enemy clump your caller is doing. That will give them immunity, so they will not die. And this happens a lot of times. Where you can use the GA. You can use the Great Arcane to set up engages. You can use it to control flanks, corners, elevations or turns, to make time for your zerg to flee or reposition, to take pressure from your zerg, or to stop bomb squads. The setup engage Great Arcane is the most sought after feature that everyone wants to play, and I get it. It is the most visually appealing gameplay you can do with an arcane. You can time stop huge clumps for the Arch, for the Golem, or for any other color weapon to make a big clump. But the problem here is the coordination with your color.
GA them now, GA them now, GA them now in the choke. Look on GA West. 3, 2, 1, West down.
So you have to ask your caller if he wants you to set engage, and while it takes 1 second to reply, the clump opportunity is just gone. But if it is effective, it turns fights around when synced perfectly. And with experience, you can risk the setup. But keep in mind the caller most probably is not expecting it, and you must know if the engage from your zerg is ready. Don't set up engages when the zerg is on cooldown. Here I'm going to show you a team that plays very well, and sometimes the caller asks the GA to set up the engage.
GA the front, in the choke, in the choke, in the choke.
And sometimes is the GA that decides that it's a good clump, but it's a team that plays together, so they already know how to play with each other.
Walk southeast, walk. On GA south, 3.
So this looks very simple
1.
because you see people clumping. You use the GA, then the caller does the engage with the zerg. But there is more to this than it appears. So I'm going to give you an example that the GA is setting up an engage. So it's pretty obvious that they will do the engage there. So I counter this by GAing them. So I'm countering their engage and I'm setting the engage at the same time for my caller. So this Great Arcane, normally they call it offensive GA, but we also have a defensive GA, but I like to call it a control arcane. You shape the fight and the moments of the fight, playing off engage. If you play after your caller engage, you make the enemy move to where you want them to move, far from your zerg. If you want to play before the engage, you come to players and move them to directions where they will naturally clump. Even not setting the engage for the caller, you are directing them to a clump. You can control the enemy zerg with Knight Armor or the Squiver Armor. But the way to play them, it's completely different. I'm going just to show you an example where I'm playing Knight Armor and I decide to reposition myself because I see a setup engage from an enemy Great Arcane and I want to try to stop the color. So I use the Knight Armor. In this case, we are playing Kite against Brawl. So I want to stop the color first and then I want to use my GA to stop the enemies pushing on the north. If I was playing with a Squiver, I would play a little bit different. If I was playing with the Squiver, I would try to use the Squiver in the flanks, so I would be in the position where I used the Arcane in the first place, and I will try to use the Arcane in the collar to stop the collar, so it's completely the opposite. Even if you are playing with the same weapon, the armor, the helmet and the boots make your gameplay completely different and you have to have different mindsets. Now, what should be your position in relation with your zerg? From my experience, if I'm playing a kite comp against a brawl comp, I will go very close to my zerg, trying to take all the tanks from punishing our DPSs and our healers. So I call this a peel arcane or a peel great arcane. If I'm playing kite against kite, I will be in a position near to my collar, in the left or in the right of my collar, and I try to position myself looking at the other tanks where they are. For example, if a Great Arcane is on the left, I go to the right. If a Great Arcane is on the right, I go to the left. If I'm an offensive Great Arcane, I will try to play a little bit further. If I'm a defensive one, I will try to look more to the flanks and looking at their engage at the same time. Playing Brawl against Kite, you need to be careful because they will be looking for the defensive tanks, but your job is to disrupt their kiting, always stopping them using Knight Armor or the Squiver, even mounting up and going to their back lines. Or if you are a second Arcane, you can also do that to the tanks, so the tanks don't have the ability to CC your team that is trying to brawl them. Brawl against Brawl, it's probably the most difficult one because it's very confusing, but you try not to GA the middle. Just if they have some kind of clap and you see that clap is going to come. Also very important, you have the tanks that protect the back line. For example, when you are attacking a Terry or a castle, if you don't have no one in the back line and you are flanked, it's GG basically. Here I'm doing that job. Is not the best job in the world because you are doing nothing most of the time, but you avoid your zerg being wiped. So in bigger fights, I'm a little bit more free and I can be with a little bit more distance from my zerg to have more chances to stop the enemy. I have my mini-map with zoom, so I know the movement of my zerg visually and I know the distance that I am from them. And my actions are related to what the color is doing, since I cannot see my zerg. So here, for example, my zerg is engaging, I hear my color saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I need to stop the zerg from coming. Because my zerg needs to stabilize and probably needs to loot and takes a little bit more time. So I do this preemptive job of slowing down the zerg that's coming and avoiding my zerg being surprised by an engage. Probably already heard about the kill zone. The kill zone is the place where the color will make the clump. So it depends on the color, on the weapon the color is using, on the boots they are using. So that distance that the color can make to grab players, that kill zone, you have to take in consideration while you are defending your own zerg and the distance the zergs are between each other. Using the GA in the enemy color, it's also a great weapon you have. Sometimes it feels like it's not the most important thing to do, but it's really important, even if you just GA the color. And I'm just going to give you an example here where I completely messed up, because I know if I GA the color, I can get away. I was too far from my zerg. I shouldn't be there, but I was completely distracted by the team up I was doing with this alliance Great Arcane. Just for failing my GA in the color, I'm dead.
GA the caller, it's 3 stars. He's calling. Nice, Camise.
Kind of gets in the head of the color, being GA'd or being knocked up. That is part of the mind game of playing Zerg versus Zerg. Sometimes it feels like it's a group thing, but it's also individual. You got to be in their minds.
Look, come west. Yo, GA them. Look on GA. Wait, just walk. Just wait. Careful north. Come east. Wait.
So now I'm going to talk a little bit about soft pressure. Every tank can do this. It's not just Great Arcanes. Your presence makes the enemy Zerg or the bomb squad think twice what to do. In this example, the bomb squad just walks away because the surprise effect they must have to engage is completely off. And here you can see I already wasted my E, but they don't know it. So the simple fact that I'm there makes my Zerg stop being the priority. But now I am the target. So in this example, I'm expecting to be pulled by the golem or polymorphed. I try to dodge the polymorph, so I go back. Then I see I'm silenced from somewhere, in this case it's the beetle, so I go back again because I'm in risk if I don't have my abilities on. And in this case I feel they are about to engage the root bound and I use knight armor, so I try to bump somebody and be immune to CC. The reality here in this case is I shouldn't even go save the tree because the tree is in a position that it shouldn't be, but this is a game and we like to challenge ourselves, and I tried to save the tree and I managed to do it. You will see me doing this combo a lot of times. In this case here, I'm doing mind games with the color. I GA them. They seem they wanted to engage because their cooldowns were up. I engage in a little off time because I'm not stopping anything, but it gets in the color's mind and he engages me instead. So I use this trick. I use the knight armor so they cannot CC me. And I have resistance. This is being nerfed, the resistance of the knight armor. And then I use the boots and I give my color opportunity to counter engage them. Keep in mind, if you try to do this, you will die a couple of times, but it's always fun to learn new tricks. Bomb squads. Some bomb squads you can stop, some you can't. Some need to be purged first by a knight armor or a one dead arcane or an heavy mace. And keep in mind, channeling abilities with spikes also cannot be stopped, like knight armor, energy shaper, and so on. In this case, you can stop only if you predict their intentions before they use any abilities. But you need to have visibility and range, and sometimes it's impossible, like in some territories or castles. Different boots need different approaches. Alien shoes. You can defend with a knight armor if you are in the right position, but you can use the E also in the place they will be revealed, normally near the collar. This is a way to stop face scale sandals, as I show here in this video. The timing is not easy, but it's doable. So you need to know what bomb squads are in the fight, so you know exactly what you can do and what you cannot do. Solo bomb squads normally you can stop with Knight Armor or with your E, because they need to have boots to escape, so they will normally use face scale sandals. So in this case you need to have patience, because they are invis and you don't know if they have passed the Knight Armor or not. So you see here I stopped the Knight Armor and I should have kept the Knight Armor till the end. And if you GA them, you have to consider that they are using Assassin Jacket, and Assassin Jacket only reveals if they take damage, and the Great Arcane does not do damage. So they will be stopped, but they will be kept invisible. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the W options. In ZvZ, they are mainly two. You have the cleanse, very strong ability that can be used in different ways. In the backline, it can be used to take debuffs from DPS like Venom Basilisk or Black Monk. But since we will be playing in the front line most of the times, it will be used to cleanse any debuff on the enemy engage, or to cleanse CC from you or from your teammates. Although in this example it doesn't happen the worst, you can see I use the ability for move speed, and in the next moment I need to cleanse the CC and I don't have it. The other W option is Mimic. You can use Guard Rune, but you have to mimic a mace, so you need to have a mace nearby so you can copy it. You can use key bindings to select the first party member, and you'll use the key bind and then W and you will have the ability. But keep in mind the mace can be far, so you cannot copy the ability, or the mace can die and you can also not copy the ability. This ability is better to play in castles and territories. It only affects 5 teammates, but your caller will tell you what to use in every situation. The Q uses the shield, so you have immunity. Alt Q to use it on yourself. Always think this ability when the golem transforms or passing a choke or in a situation that you think that you will be bumped. You can also use this ability in your caller moments before he engages, so he doesn't get bumped. You can be asked also to change to silence on the Q to cancel some battle mounts, or use the Hush passive also to interrupt abilities like the Ballista. Although this is more common to see one-hand arcanes doing this job. Be aware of Guard Runes, it's your worst counter. They cannot be purged or taken from the ground, so keep in mind in turns, elevations, chokes, when the enemy engages, there will be a Guard Rune, so you must put your E before the Guard Rune or after the Guard Rune. If the outside is green, the Guard Rune is from your team. If it doesn't have nothing, it will be from the enemy. Even after all these informations, keep in mind the way you play always depend on your caller style and their preference. It also depends on your enemy comp, on the number of teams fighting against, on the number of players those teams have. If you are playing in territory or castles, for example, you use setup engages, stop some bomb squads, you can be a backline tank. If you are in open world, you can be all roles, you're like a Swiss knife, you control the enemy zerg movement, you can do the setup as in the territory or castles.
Look south here, look southeast here, look southeast. Look southeast, walk southeast, walk southeast, walk southeast, walk.
I will leave this fight in the description. The Great Arcane is doing a lot of different things, is not always doing the same. But for the sake of the Zerg, if you have, for example, 2 Great Arcanes, you use one offensively and one defensive, so they don't mess up with each other. Also very important, inspect your targets. As you see, I'm constantly doing that in the fight to see what I'm up against. Look for counters for the Great Arcane, like Graveguard boots, like face scale shoes, like Stalker shoes, Alien shoes. Look at the weapon, if you can stop that weapon or not. If you need to, for example, if it's an energy shaper, you need to stop before they use their E, like here in this example. And here in this example, I don't stop them. Also, since I'm showing this image, the Great Arcane has a very strange feature. If you use it in the lower elevation, it will affect the upper elevation, like in this case, ZvZ is stopping a bomb squad that way in the castle. As you can see, you can use this weapon a lot of different ways. So always try to find your own style and what you feel comfortable doing. With time, you will be doing this by heart, knowing exactly if it's time to control, to peel, or to set up engage. But most important, even if you are the best arcane in the game, you will fail like any other player. Because in the other side, you also have players looking for your moves, and that's the beauty of this game. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a more advanced video about just one weapon, and I will see you guys in the next one.